Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo Story. In a shocking turn of events, Khaled Mashal, the former head of Palestinian terrorist organization Hamas, reportedly delivered a virtual address at a rally held at Malappuram in Kerala. This rally was organized by the Solitary Youth Movement, the youth wing of Jamaat-e-Islami Hind. A video has now emerged allegedly showing Mashal addressing the attendee. You can see on those visuals. Now, meanwhile, K. Surendaran, the state president of the BJP, has strongly criticized Mashal's virtual address at the rally. He raised questions about the role of Kerala police in this matter. Taking to X, Surendran expressed his concerns, asking, "Where is Pinaravi Villavan Kerala police under the guise of Save Palestine? They are glorifying Hamas, a terrorist organization, and its leaders as warriors." To discuss this, we're joined by an eminent panel. We're joined by yes, we can put Zafar Sareshwala joined us, and Rahul Eashwar also joining us. Zafar Sahab, if I may start with you, uh, glorifying Hamas, a terrorist organization, and its leaders as warriors. What do you have to say?
About what that organization in Kerala has done or has not done, I'll not comment on them. It is their this thing. But rather than they should have spoken about the cause of the Palestinians. That is the most important thing at the moment. The
Right.
sufferings of the people in Gaza, the blockade, the suffering of people in, you know, the sufferings of people in West Bank. These are the issues which need to be discussed now, and particularly the the two nation thing. How is it possible when the settlements are there? Removal of the settlements. These are the issues which need to be discussed rather than anything else. Because I spoke recently, just about 2 3 hours back, I spoke to a very known personality in Tel Aviv, a Jew lady who's very much involved with the issues of Palestine, Israel. And I spoke to her exactly. I said, "What you want now?" She said, "We want this war to stop." And she
Right.
said, as I'm talking to you now, there are demonstrations in Israel, in Tel Aviv, against this present government. He said, "We
Right.
want this Netanyahu government to go." I
Yes.
asked her that when are you going to have this two nation when Mr. Netanyahu had promised in 2001 that I'll remove everything. I only want one nation. She said, "No, this is not possible." And I raised about
Right.
this settlement. She said, "Yes, once the issue of two nation happens, we are ready to remove the settlements also." So I think
Right.
now the issue should be how there can be ceasefire, how the help could
Yes.
reach the people in Gaza, and how this two nation thing can come into existence. This is the real
Yes.
issue which needs to be
Prime
discussed.
Minister Netanyahu has come into a lot of criticism at home and abroad. But Rahul Ishwar, we know for a fact that India abstained at the UN just because Hamas was not, that phrase was not added, that it was a terrorist act carried out by Hamas, because that was not there. India abstained. And on that particular day, there is a rally, a virtual rally taking place. One of the former leaders of Hamas giving a virtual address. What do you say?
Two submissions. One, perhaps one of the most complicated issues in the world is between Israel and Palestine, and it has ramifications all over the world. So we have to be very cautious, slow in understanding and analyzing the issue. Second, I am a Hindu right wing activist. But as long as India is not designating Hamas as a terror organization, I wouldn't call it a terrorist organization because my nation has not particularly designated Hamas as a terrorist organization. I know that US, European Union has designated. But like our Prime Minister Sri Modi ji said, or a global citizen Sri Shashi Tharoor from Congress said, what happened on October 7 was a terror attack. Let us be very honest
Yes,
about it because
yes,
1,400 people died. But I would not call Hamas a terrorist organization because India has not taken that position. And we have been historically very empathetic to the Palestinian cause. We all know from the time of Mahatma Gandhi, we have strongly stood with Palestinians and we should continue to do so. because they were also fighting imperialism just like us. And I believe, to the answer, the question you are asking, Kerala is having a very sensitive balance in this aspect. We respect our Muslim community sentiments and human rights in Palestine on a very issue, but I would request them humbly. It would be very tough and unwise to associate with an organizations like Hamas. See, we have Fatah, we have other organizations who are fighting. People even in Harvard University, the top university in the world, or Oxford, is coming out strongly in support of Palestine. I may disagree with the lack of nuance in their statement, but associating with Hamas and calling a person from Hamas can be contentious, can be controversial, can backfire in a big way. That's the reason why a very responsible organization called Muslim League, rightly called Shashi Tharoor, knowing his position, and Shashi Tharoor and Munir Sahib or other leaders, Sri Samadani Sahib all spoke. So we need a kind of balance. And I would like to end by saying, I would like to quote just one more line. I would like to quote Ben Gurion. It would be interesting to know that the only photo in Ben Gurion's room, or the founder of Israel, the founder of modern Israel's room, was Mahatma Gandhi. And Ben Gurion himself noted in that bedroom photo, the entire ethical power of East lies in Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi. So I really wish for a Muslim Mahatma Gandhi to emerge, fight for Palestinian rights, win them their land and freedom. At the same point of time, we should also accept the existence right of Israel. We cannot either obliterate Israel, neither Palestine. So India needs to have a balanced, sensible, sensitive stance.
Right. Two important points that you raised, Zafar Saab, I may want to take them to you, that Hamas is not designated as a terrorist organization in India. So what are the legal options? There can be no case slapped under UAPA. They are not a terrorist organization. So legally, there can be no action taken against the group that invited Hamas, or can there be an action taken against them?
See, I agree with Rahul, my friend, that India has not designated Hamas as a terrorist organization, number one. Also, UN, the resolution yesterday, they have not mentioned Hamas as terrorist organization. I mean, we cannot piggyback what US, or for that matter, what the UK or the Europeans do. I mean, it is their problem. In fact, they were so perturbed. If you remember, when India sent, about 50 tons of, that material,
relief materials,
even before that, when a detailed statement from ministry came, where they said that the events of October 7th were horrific, but the reply to that was against humanity. And India supports a two-nation theory. India supports that occupation should be removed, settlements should be dismantled, and there should be a two-state solution where there is a state of Palestine with dignity. When India came up with this statement, lot of American columnists, they thought, oh, why India? And I replied that India is not piggybacking on what you think. We have our own identity, we have our own thinking, we have our own thought process. So it is very clear. And in fact,
yes,
the Turkish Prime Minister, he said it on floor, that how can you call Hamas a terrorist organization? They are fighting for their homeland. And you cannot equate Hamas with ISIS, because Hamas is only fighting Israel. They have not done any activity which they did on October 7th anywhere else in the world. So I think
you brought up UN. You brought up UN. Let's hear that soundbite if we can play that up.
The terror attacks in Israel on 7th October were shocking and deserve condemnation. Our thoughts are also with those taken hostages. We call for their immediate and unconditional release. Terrorism is a malignancy and knows no borders, nationality, or race. The world should not buy into any justification of terror acts. Let us keep aside differences, unite, and adopt a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism. Mr. President, casualties in the ongoing conflict in Gaza are a telling, serious, and continuing concern. Civilians, especially women and children, are paying with their lives. This humanitarian crisis needs to be addressed. We welcome the international community's de-escalation efforts and delivery of humanitarian assistance to the people of Gaza.
Correct.
Rahul Eashwar, you heard that India making it clear that zero tolerance for terrorism. But you brought up the issue of Shashi Tharoor. You know, he had mentioned about terrorism that was perpetuated by Hamas, and then he had talked about the atrocities that are being committed on the people of Gaza by Israel. And now there are reports that another group which had invited him have now cancelled that invitation. So what so when you are saying that people have to be more accommodative, then it just doesn't work on the ground.
But we have to make things work on ground because it's a very tight drop walk. It's a very sensitive balance. For example, what Shashi Tharoor said was, if I can quote it in English, he said what happened was a terrorist attack. But he didn't say Hamas was a terrorist organization. There is a nuance difference because 1,400 people, being killed can definitely should be called a terrorist attack. But at the same point of time, Hamas, we all know their history. Yes, they have been radical, they have been militant, but they are fighting for a right cause. And that right cause is what even Mahatma Gandhi agreed with, is what India has been standing for a long time. So there are nuanced differences we should show. And we should, I know I'm a pro-Israel person, but we should not fall for the agenda saying that Hamas is ISIS, like Zafar Saab said. See, there are differences. You cannot simply make everyone into one simple blanket and, have lack of nuance. That's the reason why we need to have a clinical precision in this. That's the reason why, for example, even if you look at Tirumurti Sar's statement earlier, he categorically said against the desecration of Holy Quran and regarding the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So we all know this is a very sensitive space because the divinity is associated with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jesus Christ's legacy is there. The old temple of Jews starting from AD 70 is there. So international community, the global humanity will have to find a solution. The big players like America, Russia or China will have to come. India can be a very balancing role, a right role. And like Zafar Saab earlier said, this settler, colonizer attitude of some hawkish people shouldn't be there. And please remember, even Israel Prime Minister after the Oslo Accords, the Prime Minister was killed by a hardline Jew and the entire peace process was derailed. In the similar way, why Hamas attacked is also important because even Saudi Arabia was ready to have normalization of ties with Israel. Abraham Accords say some kind of 2.0 may have been coming. So Hamas wanted to derail the peace talk and unfortunately they were kind of successful in it. So it's a very nuanced approach. We need to have, we cannot have grandstanding in this. We need to be honest. We need to be sincere rather than having a strategy. The international community should definitely involve because sooner or later it will spill over the whole world. So that's the reason why expert people, moderate people from all sides should stand together. And coming to Kerala, I would humbly request and urge our Muslim community, Muslim League, who I am very much in good relationship with, I would humbly urge, I know their pain, the Palestinian kids are dying, we are pained because 6,000 people, more than 6,000 people is killed. I don't know who did it, but Gaza hospital bombing is painful, the church bombing happened. So you have to be a very nuanced approach, and associating with Hamas might not be the best way for Muslim community's own interest to go forward in a much more nuanced world.
Right. Zafar Saab, would you agree that, associating with Hamas, bringing a Hamas leader for a virtual rally at a time when India has made it clear that it supports Palestinian cause, it is for sending aid and relief materials to Gaza and dispatched one consignment already, but it goes against the overall, the perspective of the government of India that the act on October 7 was terrorism, and Hamas didn't say that it didn't do it. In fact, there were cameras, body cams, which were used, and footage that was released later on. So, do you think that is a mismatch here?
Yeah, I think, you have to be very cautious. Important is we want to achieve a goal. And why we need to be controversial. I mean, I said that India has not designated Hamas as terrorist organization. Even in that UN resolution, the word terrorism with Hamas is not there. But still, why you want to be controversial, unnecessary? What is important? You want solution for the Palestinians? Do you want solution of Gaza, or you want some, I would say, great footage on television? Which is more important? I think more important is the solution, and what is the best way to reach to that solution. I think that should be done, and that is the need of the hour, rather than getting into such semantics.
Because a lot of slogans were also raised as we read from the reports. It gives it an entirely different sort of a spin when you have a leader of Hamas, a former leader, speaking to a rally virtually. It gives it a different sort of a meaning altogether when you talk about Palestinian resistance, their rights, their right to self-determination. That's a different concept. But when you bring in something that is very, uh, uh, you know, at this point in time, when the entire focus is on the war between Israel and Hamas, it just changed the direction to a great extent. Rahul?
Yeah, it changes the color. See, pro-Palestine rally in Kerala or India should not be a news, because we are all pro-Palestinians. We are all pro-Palestinians. We have been standing with them. But my humble request will only be, there are some Lakshmana Rekhas we should be very careful associating with. When you cross that Lakshmana Rekha, there will be counter sentiments, there will be polarization. See, that's the whole problem. See, Kerala and even India, we adored Yasser Arafat as a person. The Fatah, the PLO, the entire thing, we have been very supportive with, and we should rightly be so, not only because we have great relation with them, but they are right in saying so. Their rights have been taken. And Mahatma Gandhi even went to the extent of saying, just like the England belongs to the English, just like the France belongs to the French, the Palestinian belongs to the Arabs. That has been our position. But historically, because of Israel's overtures, they were helping. Let us be honest about it. They were helping us in many wars. They were transferring technology. And, the right-wing governments had much more of an alignment. They came together. See, I'm a right-winger, but I don't share the Islamophobia of many ultra-right-wingers who support Israel just out of the hatred for Muslims. There are many people, who don't know anything about Israel, but they just want to be on the, sloganeering side. There might be fringe elements everywhere. Let us discount the fringe. But, I would request our Muslim community to strongly raise the issue of Palestinians, collect funds. We will all be contributing, support them, arrange resources. But at the same point of time, when you associate with Hamas, it can create issues. And I believe there should be a bit more moderate, bit more restrained in doing so, unless, the entire social fabric can have negative repercussions. So let us stand strongly with Palestinians, not Hamas. That's a huge difference. The war is rightly between Israel and Hamas, and many of the Palestinians are suffering. We should stand with Palestine strongly, but Hamas is a different equation altogether.
Rahul Eashwar, Zafar, Sareshwala will have to leave it here. Thanks so much for joining us and giving your thoughts. And thanks for watching Mojo Story.
Thank you. Zafar.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.